back to my channel. As you can see from my sexy voice, I'm really sick, but that's not an excuse to not look gorgeous. In this video, I'm going to show you how I turned this weird but kind of interesting outfit into something really cute and sexy for spring, summer, holidays, or whenever you want to wear. If you want to start this project from zero, you just have to make 2 rectangles of fabric and then go on with the tutorial. So easy. So, without further ado, I introduce you to this cute and sexy, colorful outfit. Are you ready? Let's get started. This outfit has 2 parts, one for the skirt and one for the top. Since I'm quite okay with the skirt, I'm going to be working on the top. So the first thing I did was, of course, try it on. I decided that I wanted to cut it short around here. So just took a measuring tape and measure how short I wanted it, and in my case it is 16.5 centimeters. But of course you can cut it as long or short as you want. So once you have this measure, just pin the fabric together so it doesn't move a lot, and take your measuring tape and mark that measure, in my case again 16.5, and I'm going to mark it 3 times to the sides and in the middle. Trace a straight line and cut over it. This fabric is folded in the back, so I'm going to put that up and I'm going to cut the rest of the fabric 2 more times. So I'm going to be having 3 pieces, one for the headpiece, one for the elastic band of the top, and one for the sleeves. As you see in the picture, I'm going to be marking 14 centimeters and 19 centimeters. And as always, I'm going to be marking it 3 times to the sides and in the middle. Trace a straight line and cut over it. Now take the pins away and we are going to be working on the first piece, the smallest one. This one is folded in half, and because I want to use all the fabric, I'm going to rip this seam. And now I'm just going to fold this in half, facing the right side to the right side, and pin it together all around the piece of fabric. Of course, this is much easier if you cut it open instead of a ring, and anyway, you have to do this because we're going to be sewing now these sides. For the sides, we're going to be tracing a line like this, and we're going to sew that line and all across the piece of fabric, but leave the other side open. So now you can cut the fabric, of course leaving some sewing allowance, and just sew it with the machine or by hand. And leave this side open so we can turn it inside out. Cut the same line on the other edge, and now just turn this inside out. If you're a perfectionist, you can use a needle to make the tip look perfect. Now go to the other side, and of course we have to close it. So I'm going to be folding the edge inside, pin it, And now just take both sides, pin this together so it's closed. And you can sew it with the machine, but I'm going to be sewing this by hand because it looks nicer. So I'm just going to put the needle inside and now take a tiny piece of fabric down, a tiny piece of fabric up, and sew it together. Always try to hide the needle, so put the needle in, a tiny piece of fabric down, and a tiny piece of fabric from up. And again, pass the needle through and sew it together. Repeat this process but leave a tiny piece open. You can skip this step, but if you have wire, it will look much better if you put a piece of wire. My wire is really thin, so I'm just gonna take 2 pieces, twist them together, and slide the wire inside like this. And now you can go on with the sewing until it's completely closed. Perfect, we are done with the headpiece. Now we are going to continue with the top, which is the first piece that we measured. Remember? The one that is 16,5 in my case? And here we don't have to do much. I'm just going to be folding the edge up and sewing it with the machine so it looks nice. And now I'm just going to take the middle of the front part and I'm going to pass a needle through it from one side to the other. Just up, down, all the way through the piece of fabric. And now I'm going to do the same backwards. So I did this from up to down and now from down up. You can do this a couple of times, and when you're done, just make a couple knots by putting the needle in, making a loop, and then passing the needle through the loop. Do this a couple times, and look the difference. So now we're going to take the second stripe of fabric, and we are going to be doing the same that we did before. So just cut it open and fold it in half, facing the right side to the right side, pin it together, and sew it with the machine. But in this case, we're going to leave both edges open. And again, turn it inside out. Here's the stripe. Now we are going to be sewing the two edges together, but not closing it, because we have to put the elastic inside. For that, just take a safety pin, pin the elastic, and just slide it inside the fabric all the way until you get the safety pin through the other side. Ta-da! Perfect! Now we're going to close the elastic, sewing it by hand or with the sewing machine. stretch the elastic so everything goes to the right place really easily. And now we can close the piece of fabric. Again, I'm going to just fold the edges of the fabric inside, like this. And now put the two edges together, pin it in place, and sew it together like we did before, with the machine or by hand. Now try it on, and we are going to be sewing together the top with the elastic band. For that, just put the elastic over the top and pin it in place. And once you're happy with how it looks, pin it in place. All around, in the front, in the back, in the sides. And now we are going to be sewing this. You can put more pins to help you with the sewing. And important, I sew this 2 times, one to put the fabric together with the elastic, and one over here, that's the top part of the elastic, because it keeps the elastic perfect in place. Now take the last piece of fabric and we're going to be making the sleeves. For that, I'm going to cut the seam, fold the fabric in half and cut it. Like this, I will have 2 pieces exactly the same. And we're going to fold the edges inside and pin them in place. Again, all along the piece of fabric. Of course, you have to do this with all 4 edges and sew them with the sewing machine or by hand. Just so you know, my piece of fabric is like 12 centimeters wide. These are going to be the 2 sleeves, so put the top on and again, put the sleeves inside the top until you're happy with how it looks and pin it together. In the front, in the back, and of course in the sides. Again, put some more pins to help you with the sewing, and just like before, I'm going to be sewing this part by hand because I don't like the idea of having a seam there. So, like before, take the piece of fabric, put the needle inside, and take a little piece of fabric from the bottom, a little piece of fabric from the top, and slide the needle inside. Of course, you have to do this with the front and the back of the sleeve and 2 sleeves, and you will be done. Are you ready for the result? So this was all for today's video. The final result, as you see, it's really amazing. It looks gorgeous and it was kind of easy to do. I hope you liked it. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment and everything. You know how this works. And don't forget that you can always text me or ask me for any comments, questions or requests in the comments below or in my Instagram, Nail Battery. I am talking about Instagram. Now you can share your creations with me by tagging me in the posts using the hashtag #NailBattery, and I will be able to see all your beautiful creations. You know, I love when you share that with me, and also when you just text to say hi. Also, Valentine's Day is around the corner, and if you want to look really sexy for your partner, for your friends, or for yourself, you can check out the last video that I posted, because there you have a really sexy robe DIY, really easy to do and really gorgeous. So, that's all from my side. See you in the next video. Bye bye. A very extra and sexy. I introduce you to this. Also Valentine's Day. In this video. Ooh, sexy socks.